Welcome, welcome. Happy Monday to you. Happy day before Halloween, day before the last day of October. You see my little heater back here behind me. It suddenly got crazy cold here on the Gulf Coast, just in time for Halloween, although I think by like Thursday we're back in the 80s, so it's going to be short-lived. But I have this one room of the house all nice and toasty warm, so I'm never leaving. That may be why at noon I already have my entire to-do list done for the day. I've not wanted to walk out of here because it is so cold. But hopefully you are toasty warm wherever you are and you're getting ready to have some fun tomorrow night, whether you are handing out candy from your home, going trick-or-treating with little ones, or doing what I will be doing, which is staying home with the dogs so that they don't get all freaked out. Today we are wrapping up our opportunity event, or I should say our recruiting series. We did kind of an October of opportunity, and today we're talking about how to use a Facebook group to manage your team. So this is generally kind of our leadership call, which we do at the end of the month. But I confused everybody. We were in the leader room, then we're over here, and so anyway, I apologize for that confusion if you are not able to watch us live because you can't find us. Don't know where we are. But I thought, you know, we have done all of, we had the recruiting let me try this again. I should have had more coffee. We did our opportunity event on the blog last month. We have had our Diva Holiday gift guide going on the blog this month, but our training has been recruiting focused. So between the two, we're kind of wrapping up with the what do you do with all these new people? How do you make sure that you maintain everybody, manage everybody, and give them the best start that you possibly can? And of course, a Facebook group is one of the best tools to do that with, and so that's why we kind of decided to wrap it up with that. I also, if you didn't see this morning, put the entire holiday schedule up on the events calendar, so make sure that you check that out and RSVP for all of those. We have 2 big Facebook parties, tons of trainings, and there will be some other things going up, but I went ahead and just tried to do the whole rest of the year to get done because I know those notifications get kind of frustrating. So, oh, and the other thing is the Diva Holiday gift guide. I have one product that is being delivered tomorrow. So maybe one day we had, you know, the hurricanes that had our mail, all kinds of crazy. So not everything came in time, but that's okay. We're gonna keep going and make sure that you check that out. All right. So let's talk about Facebook groups. So this is one of the best resources that for now is still free on Facebook for you to use to manage your team. It is somewhere that you can kind of have as almost like a central hub for communication. Now, that being said, you guys have seen my training on Trello. I am a huge supporter and believer in Trello, which is also free and has a lot more resources there and a lot more opportunity there that you cannot do with the Facebook group. I also have put together and helped people put together a few team websites, which the benefit of having the team website, of course, is if anything was to ever happen to Facebook, you have your own place and you don't lose anything. But you know, for now, and while we still have Facebook as it is, the groups are obviously a great place for you to connect. Everybody's on Facebook. The statistics are still staggering, almost painfully staggering the amount of people that are on here. So let's just look at a couple of different things. And this is, of course, a screenshot within our group. An older one, we're up in numbers a little bit, but still looks the same and functionality is the same. So this is the admin look, and at the time I took this screenshot, you can see here I have that posts need to be approved and I have that members need to be approved. This is done in the settings, and we'll get to that in just a second. but right at a first glance, I am able to see what I need to do to manage the group, and you can do the exact same thing with yours and your team. I suggest having both posts and people on moderated. Okay, just me. I suggest this for team groups as well as for your customer groups, just to have a little bit of control. Unfortunately, with our group, even though I have the rules very proudly on display here, people still break them. And this is where they break them, is trying to post those spammy opportunity, join my team, join my train, join my whatever. So I'm able to moderate that, and also, of course, making sure that the people who want to be there have a reason to be there. You want to make sure that, especially in your team group, that everybody that is requesting to join is actually on your team. I want to make sure that they are actually a consultant or looking for consulting and not trying to sell something. Okay. So one of the biggest things is this beautiful opportunity here, which is the pinned post. So your pinned post may be, there's a couple different ways that you can do this. The pinned post is always going to be at the top. Okay, so you want to put the most important information there. So you can make it, you know, static, or you can have it like where you're pinning a new post every single day. There's a blogger group that I'm in where my pinned post every single day is a new share thread where we're sharing blog posts. So on the Party Plan Divas, however, the only time I really change it is when we need to update the rules. So you will decide, do you want to have like one standard thing that you just kind of leave up, you know, and edit just kind of as necessary? Or do you want to train your team that the first thing they do is log on there and kind of see what the goings on are of the day or the week or whatnot? So you have a lot of functionality there with that pinned post. The way that you do it is when you go ahead and publish your post, and then this little arrow right here, you can drop down and pin or unpin. Since this one was already pinned, it says unpin, but that'll give you the option to pin the post. And again, that's going to put it at the very top. You can also edit from here. You can edit the history. So if you've made changes, want to go back and see what's happened. You can also turn on and off your commenting. I actually kind of like to turn off comments sometimes because I would 100% rather a new thread get started with questions than, you know, you've seen some of those that like have a bazillion different comments, and, you know, trying to actually find any information is next to impossible. So I love the ability to just turn off comments. And if you have a question, just post something new. Like, it's not saying, I don't want to talk, I don't want to hear about it, but it's just saying, you know, this isn't the place kind of thing. All right. So you want to put your most important information up here and any rules that you have. Now, on mobile, here's the only downfall to the pinned post is that it's not very easily seen on mobile. So you want to remind people often. I actually have the URL to the pinned post in my notes and in my Trello, so that every once in a while, you guys may notice, I'm able to say, welcome new members, please make sure to read the pinned post, and I go ahead and put the URL. That way, if they're scrolling on mobile, they're able to just tap it, because to find the pinned post, they'd have to go to the group, go to the discussion, go, and there's this tiny little thing that says view pinned post. Okay, I wish that they made that a little bit easier to find, but until I get Zuckerberg on the phone, I just have the URL that I'm able to, you know, to post often and say, you know, make sure that you read the pinned post for our rules. Okay, so one of the things that we're going to dive into a little bit of the settings here, but something that I don't know that I have the screenshot on is right here, is this notifications. Make sure that you have notifications turned on, and encourage people to turn their notifications on as well. I have that in the pinned post. If you have people that, first of all, Facebook has an algorithm for absolutely everything, including the groups now. We'll get to that in a second. But even if you have the notifications turned on, Facebook still chooses which notification it sends you. Because I have notifications turned on for like 7 of my Facebook groups, and I only actually get notifications of like 2. I'll be like, man, I haven't heard anything, and I'll go and look, and sure enough, I've missed like 5 posts. So you have to kind of pare down what you want to have on notification, because Facebook is still going to show you what it wants you to see, but do encourage people to have those notifications turned on. Because I am so like, turn them on, turn them on, turn them on, because I don't want people to miss things, I make sure that everything that I update is important, relevant. Like, you know, this morning when I had to put all of those events up, I'm like, give me 10 minutes, guys, and I'm done. And I do. I have it all scheduled out. I have what I'm going to say. I'm like, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, boom, 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 and done. Because I don't want to inundate and have somebody turn off notifications because of that. All right, so let's go into our settings here. So obviously, group name, you can choose a type. Go ahead and have the web address here as something that is easy to remember or that is for you. I've seen a lot where it's like /group/1874248, you know, whatever. Nobody's going to be able to remember that. So go ahead and give it kind of its vanity name so that people can find you. In the description, you can put in here, exclusive, you know, team Facebook group for Cindy Jackson's, you know, Cowgirls or whatever. So, you know, put something specific in there so that people will know that it's you, and also will know that it's not just an open for everybody in your company kind of thing. Go ahead and put that description in there. If you want to put tags, you can. You don't necessarily need to do that with your team as much as I would with a customer group. And then again, here's the posting permissions. I have where members, moderators, and admins can post, but group posts must be approved, okay? And it even throws down here where you can look and see what is pending. Again, that's just me. Mostly for Party Plan Divas, it is because, unfortunately, we still have people that join and immediately try to drop their spammy link. They don't understand relationship marketing whatsoever. And that's not what our group is for. So I have it on there. For your team, you know, you want people to be able to get immediate answers, but you also want to make sure that the questions are correct, that somebody is not upset about something, or unfortunately, people don't have a lot of a filter. Sometimes there are things that can take a 2-minute conversation, but they can get misconstrued pretty bad on Facebook. You know, you can choose how you feel about that. All right, you can pick a group type here. This, again, is probably more important for if it's a customer group. You're really not going to be advertising your team group as much. You want people, I mean, obviously they have to join the team first, and then they get the link to join in. So, but just so that if you're, in case you're creating the group for both or making sure that your groups are set up properly, this is the only one that really changes anything, which is the buy, sell, trade, which most direct sales companies do not allow for, so it really doesn't make much difference. All right. So this is where you would go for the pending post, which you saw in the first screenshot, and it will have the entire post that you can read, anything that is linked, who it is from, and then it gives you a couple of options. So you can approve it, you can delete it, you can even delete and ban member if it is something that is inappropriate, which sadly has happened a few times. You have to have some thick skin to be a moderator of a Facebook group, that is for sure. But the one thing that I'm hoping that they come out with is the ability to message from that. So because there have been a few times where I have not been able to approve something based on a rule, but I would love to tell the person why. So again, when we get Zuckerberg on the phone, that's going to be my request. I thought that it gave us the ability to do that once, but I have not seen it since. So, but again, so this is where you'll go into the pending post. And also you'll see over here where it's got member requests. If you can have where you can report to admin, report to Facebook, yeah, all kinds of stuff. The thing about the Facebook groups is they really give like all the functionality for all this stuff to be free. It's pretty remarkable. All right, so speaking of members, one thing that I do suggest, you see right here how I have 2 admins? make sure that you have at least 2 admins for every group that you run. This is not to give somebody else power or anything like that, but if your Facebook account is ever hacked, or if your Facebook account is ever closed, you need kind of a second person. And I believe ours is Mike, which is my now husband. So, you know, it doesn't have to be a team member. It just has to be somebody that you can gain access to your group should anything happen or go wonky. It's just kind of a security measure. Again, you can block people. Most of the time I block people that are putting inappropriate things or whatever. But you can also see here, go through your groups. This little gear icon gives you the option to, you can message, you can view profile, you can remove somebody, you can make them admin, all kinds of stuff here, literally with just a click. And there's also a search function here. So like on Party Plan Divas, sometimes I have to search and find people to send them a message because we have, you know, 10,000 members. All right, let me speed up here. Okay, so let's kind of go through the tabs up here. Events. This is huge, the opportunity to be able to post events. So my suggestion would be any training, anytime, anything in your corporate, you know, whether it's team, what is the word I'm looking for, like regional trainings, conventions, incentive type things. If you are earning a trip and there's like a 3-month qualification period or whatever, put it in events, because the great thing about events is not only is it super easy to, like, you know, like have the conversations and stuff in there like we do, but they get notifications. A lot of people have their Facebook calendar linked to their Google Calendar. So they're able to see and set those reminders. When corporate puts out, hey, we're going here on this day, go ahead and throw it in there. You never know who might be able to make it, who you may have a team member by then that's in that area or visiting that area or wants to fly across the country to go and attend or whatever. So go ahead and put it in there. If you have any vendor events that are local, do you have a booking blitz that is coming up? Do you have an incentive going on? I mean, you can have a 2-week incentive that you have an event for, and if somebody RSVPs, yes, that they're going to attend that event, like they're going to participate in the incentive, then every time you post, they get a notification. So you can like have all of the cheering. Now you're going to do some in the group too, but you can have like all of the cheering and all of the information that is needed for that incentive or for that group or whatever happening right there in that event. And this drop down here will drop down so you can see past events, you can clone events, that kind of thing. So don't just think of, you know, what events you have going on. Think bigger. Also, if you hear of, like, there's tons of holiday events going on right now, there's like local fairs in your area, encourage your team members, if they are going to be participating in vendor events, to go ahead and put them up there, because there might be a sister consultant who just wants to go shop. You know, there's other vendors there. They may want to go and hang out and kind of support their sister too. So this should be filled up all the time. All right, next thing is photos. So how many photos do you have in your group? This pulls in any of the photos that you upload to your timeline. And they now are you have videos beforehand, which is even better. But it's going to automatically pull. So I just kind of try to spot check every once in a while and make sure that everything in this photo section is still relevant, is appropriate, is positive, that kind of stuff. And this is big, especially the relevancy part, because when you have a brand new consultant and she's, you know, trying to check everything out, you don't want her to share something or save a photo or something from a product that, you know, has been discontinued or, you know, is no longer available or whatnot. The video section, probably my favorite. As you can tell, I love videos. This is everybody's video though. So this is on Facebook Live. You can see this is one of our divas that did a quick video too that I requested. So this is a great place for you to pack training and for you to pack all kinds of inspiration, ideas, announcements, all that kind of stuff. It's so easy. You can do it from your phone, you can do it from your computer. to just hop on. And I will tell you, as someone who led a very large team that was in 3 different countries, just posting words just isn't good enough. You want to have that sisterhood, and you want people to know you and get used to seeing you. So they don't care, okay? They don't care whether you have makeup on or if you have a pimple or what. Nobody cares. All right, they're not there for that. They're not there to judge you. They're there to learn, and they're there to be inspired. So don't stress over that part too much. Jump on there. And the other thing too is the more connected and the more of a strong relationship they feel they have with you, the more they can come to you and ask for help when they need it. The more they want to make you proud by working and doing the things that you have coached them to do. It's all about relationships. So, get on there. Don't be afraid of Facebook Live. You should be using Facebook Live like crazy within your team group because no matter where they are, what they're doing, you can connect with them. And that's powerful. I'm going to run out of time. I always do. All right. The other thing is file section. So on Trello, remember how I said to set up the files and then you're going to recreate a board for every new person. Okay. This is just kind of a second line of defense. All right, you can put all of these files in here. So important. A lot of corporate offices, they don't necessarily have the best back office resources for mobile, okay? Some do. Some are coming around. Some do. But what happens when your brand new consultant gets asked a question that she doesn't know the answer to, and she's sitting in someone's living room? She needs to be able to access that information. And so when you have this packed full files section, because Facebook's like got mobile nails, like they're the best, right? So to be able to look at those things and see them from mobile and access them, there was a time just last week that I needed to be able to access something it was a file that I could not pull off of my website. I ended up having to pull it out of this group, but I couldn't get to it. I needed to print it right then. My USB apparently died. So all these scenarios that just make it such a great resource to have this file section. And you can upload, you can share, you can create one and just type things out. Like, you don't have to have this big professional portfolio type whatever. Throw the files in there, because trust me, people are going to love them. Okay, so what do you need in there? So one of the number one things is your contact information. And you can just create a doc right here, and you can have everybody's contact information. You can have people that say, hey, put your address in here, put your your phone number in here, put your email address in here, or whatever. Because if you ever do like a Secret Santa or something along those lines, or sometimes you may just want to be able to send people little goodies, little words of encouragement or whatever. But people need to be able to contact you. Biggest thing, and shouldn't have to rely on just Facebook Messenger. If you're the leader, you need to have a couple different lines of contact. All right. Upline information, how to reach corporate, return policy, compensation plan, any kind of fast start programs that they offer, and make sure that those are updated too. Any incentives that are going on right now, sales specials. Once they're done, delete them out of the file section if they're no longer good. You don't want somebody to look and get the wrong date or whatever. Hostess program, policies and procedures, product knowledge, and then, of course, training, okay? And if people have their notifications on, they're going to get a notification that you added something to the file section, and they'll be able to quickly upload, download, whatever it is, and have access to that as well. So that is another free resource that you can pack pretty full. So how to keep the group active? I have to speed up. Okay, so create group-only content and do it often. So you should be talking in there a lot. The algorithm is all over Facebook. You have to post stuff that people engage with, or they don't show it to them. Even if they have the notifications on, even if they're in the group, even if whatever. I'll show you in a second, out of 10,000 members, how many people see my stuff when I post it in our group. And that's the Facebook algorithm. That is partly my fault, in that there have been times that I haven't, posted things consistently, but it is also partly the other, the people that are in the group, because if you just see something and you don't engage with it, you're telling Facebook you're not interested. So even though you join the group, If you don't, so I'm like, so you guys, if you see it, if you want to continue to see it, at least hit like, because that is going to tell Facebook that you want to continue seeing those things in your newsfeed. So create stuff often, put stuff in your group often, even if it's just creating one little new thing. If it's creating an image in Canva that you know, has some new products on it, or has some product knowledge on it, or has inspiration, or your favorite quote, or something like that, do that often. You want to be updating your group a day, or once to twice a day, absolute minimum. Yes, Danielle, thank you. Number 2, ask questions, create polls. You know, the polls thing is super fun, and I do those every once in a while. I will tell you this though, I normally have to look at my poll answers through another browser. Like if I post the poll on the computer, then I have to look at the answers on the phone because it doesn't show me everything. I don't know. But polls are fun, and they don't always have to be business. But they can be like, what are your favorite products from our holiday line? And list like 3 of them. Okay, because people can add more options, but you know, people can vote on it and talk about it. So, you know, create those polls. It can also be, you know, my whole thing about which is better, Fruit Loops or Lucky Charms. You know, just for fun. It doesn't always have to be business. You want to create that sisterhood and create that family in there. And then, of course, Facebook Live. I will admit that over the summer, I did not get on Facebook Live as much as I wanted to, but you may notice that things are clearing out back here. That is going to change this holiday because I love me some Facebook Live. All right. So one of the things that they came out with recently, thank goodness, are these group insights. Now this is going to be both good and bad. This is where you get a good glimpse at what is going on in your group. So before you click on that button, or if you have clicked on that button, you just have to be ready to find out that you may have a team of 1,000 people and your people looking are like 4. All right, so for instance, I have 10,629 members as of this morning, which is fantastic, right? But let me see if I have, oh, it didn't screenshot. So I have to tell you, when it said, it'll be in here somewhere, active members is about 4,000. 40%. 40%, okay? So, you know, that, and I read and I looked and I researched and whatever, and that is kind of average. Like that's, you know, it's actually a little bit higher than average. But you're able to see here very clearly what is working, what is not working, who is there, who is not there, what's going on with membership. I've let 92 people in, so we're growing at, you know, 92 people for the last 28 days. So almost 100 people a month. It's pretty good growth. So you can see the most recent people in here, all kinds of stuff. All right, but this is important. If this is trending downwards, then we need to look and see why and what is going on. Here, guess what happened here and here? I go time without posting. This is what happens every time. Right here was when I think it was when I had, oh, it was right up until the wedding. So I had like several days that I was, quote, off, so nothing was going on. And look at what was happening. All right, so again, now things are back on the rise now that, you know, you're present again. But this will for sure show you, you know, what you need to be doing. Speaking of that, also this is super important too. Popular days. When are the most team members on? What time? Or as of schedulers, that doesn't mean you have to be here. This is something like 9 o'clock at night is my most popular time. I have to tell you guys, at 9 o'clock at night, I'm ready for bed. I can barely put a sentence together, much less a great post. So a lot of times I will schedule stuff that you guys are online, and that's probably because we have, again, East Coast and West Coast, and then a bunch of people over in the UK as well. But that being the best time, like, I'm in bed. So use that scheduler. If you find out that most of your people are online when you're not, then, you know, get a scheduler. Use something like Buffer, or CoSchedule, or even just schedule straight through Facebook. This is cool too, and this is something that I want to have some fun with. This is your top members, the people that are most active. And this I think is super fun and something that I would encourage you to to do with your team. And yeah, I mean, I thought that was cool. Like, oh my gosh. Now, I gotta tell you, like, these are my top girls that I talk to every day, right? I'm talking to you guys every day. We have done gift guides together. You guys are top of your team. Like, it's kind of those who show up, go up. You see a lot of the same people. Yeah, see, there you guys are. So I thought this was really cool with your team. I mean, how cool is it to see you're one of the top people out of 10,000 people? Like, you're one of the most active. Now, imagine what your team would feel like seeing that. So, that may be something that you guys are so cute. That may be something that you can, incentivize. I know that, exactly, and that's, what your team can do as well. I used to actually we had a Post the Most contest back in the day when we had actual forums. I don't know if you guys, let's see, I think Cindy, you may have been there when we had the Post the Most. But it was who would post the most new ideas in a month to the forums, and we may do something like that again, because I mean, look right here, it'll tell you exactly. So this is how many new posts, and this is how many comments and engagements and stuff like that. So that may be something fun that you can do with your team as well. So remember that the Facebook algorithm is alive and well, whether it is a group or a page or a profile or whatever, right? So make sure that everything that you are posting within your group is still kind of part of the social media rules, okay? That you are doing things that are popular and that get engagement and that ask for engagement, that you are there and present. This doesn't mean you need to be online 24/7. That goes against everything Party Plan Divas has. But it does mean that you need to make sure that you are present, okay? And that you appear to be present, and that you're showing things that are relevant and interesting to them as well, okay? What not to do not discuss current events in your Facebook group. Everybody is going to have a difference of opinion, and the thing is, it doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter if somebody on your team has a difference of opinion, okay? There is a person living in this house. My spouse and I don't agree on things, but we can get along and raise a beautiful family together and give each other a hard time that we do things to, we literally vote to count each other out and stuff like that. So you don't all have to get along or agree or be on the same mindset or whatever in order to be there and to be a sisterhood. Don't get into political debates. Don't be spammy. Don't talk about business 100% of the time, too. You want to have personal stuff. You guys, I shared my wedding stuff with you. I shared that my little dog got hurt last week. I've shared things going on when my daughter graduated and stuff like that. Like, we're all in relationships, and I know about you guys. I love seeing, Danielle, your son, on social media all the time. He's so cute. So, I mean, we have a relationship. We know each other, and that's, why we work together. So do the same with your teams as well. And don't be quiet. And that leads right into, I've left my group for so long. How should I get going now? Just start, okay? Just start talking. You may tag people. So you could, like, for instance, say if you have, people in the group and you want to do some recognition, you can start there. And don't be afraid to tag people. So, like, if you go into your back office or you run a report or whatever, and you say, I just want to give a shout out to and tag somebody. So we look at our tags, right? We want to know what that's about. So that person can, come back, see, engage. Well, because that person engaged, Facebook is going to be like, oh, okay, wait, she's suddenly involved, interested in this again. And then they'll see the next thing that you post. And then anybody who is friends with that person is going to see, in the group that is going to see that they've been tagged. So it just, it literally is those little seeds. We have to plant all these little seeds in Facebook for them to grow. It's the exact same concept with every bit, yes, of business. Cindy, yes, absolutely. It's really funny because I started those corny names, Money Monday, Team Tuesday, whatever, for my time management back in the day, but I have done the same with social media. I have done the same with my blog posts to have a schedule. It does. It works. It helps keep you on schedule and keeps you going, keeps things, you know, people like routine. They like to have that, you know, knowing what to expect is a big, big thing. So, yeah. Anybody have any questions? All right, it's a good deal. Well, next week, again, I put the whole new schedule up. Next week, we're kind of throwing ourselves into holiday. This happens every year. It was so hot. We were literally in the triple digits like a week and a half ago. And then last night, it got into the 30s. And then by the weekend, it's going to be back in the 80s. But, I know, it's crazy. But, you know, guys, it's like, what is it, 50-something days until Christmas? I'm like, how is that even possible? I saw that on Facebook the other day. So, you know, we're in crunch time because with us, we have even less than that for holiday delivery. So next week we will be throwing ourselves into the holiday selling season and selling for the holidays. And we're going to be talking about how to use social media and sales tips and how to get the word out, vendor events, booth events, all that kind of stuff. So just the next, I think it's the next 7 weeks, and that's it, 7 weeks till Christmas. So it is here. So have a wonderful rest of your week. Check the events section. Thank you guys for coming in, and I will see you in our Facebook group. Bye.